Hello and welcome to another episode of Green Time. I'm your host John Hickey from the Missouri Sierra Club, and on today's edition we discuss the new NAACP report, Just Energy Policies. It's a report specific to Missouri, and we have two great guests to help us understand this new report. Let me introduce them to you. On my immediate left, Adolphus Pruitt from the St. Louis City NAACP. Thanks for being with us.
No, it's a pleasure to be here as usual.
And then Sam Cummings, who's on the Missouri Chapter Executive Committee for the Sierra Club. Thanks for being with us, Sam.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine.
So this new report, Just Energy Policies, talks about a couple of changes that the state government could make that would improve the state's energy picture and improve economic development. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about this new report?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best way is that nationally our energy policy folks have been looking at what's going on across the country in all of the states, and they had a chance to take a look at Missouri, of course. And we were looking at a number of things in the Missouri report that at least jump out to me, and I guess the main one is to take the second piece you said is the economic development piece, when it virtually talked about the fact that there is a significant green or energy related economy that's been generated as it relates to jobs, economic opportunities, and at the end of the day, it is an area that minorities seem to be the least involved in from a beneficiary standpoint on the production side. If Missouri, just like everywhere else, is nationwide, that energy sector looks like somewhere like $29 billion with around 1% of minorities being involved on the workforce side, and less than 1% involved on the business side of it. So that has been most of the area we've been focusing on as relates to what's in the report.
Okay, and one set of examples that I know, Sam, you and I have talked about is a couple of factories in North St. Louis that are involved in making parts for the wind energy supply chain.
Yes.
Lincoln Engineering and
ABB. Yes.
How important are manufacturing jobs like that in St. Louis?
Well, me personally, I come from a background, I work in startups, so I work a lot with software development, but not everybody can be a software developer. There are great opportunities and jobs and lifelong jobs that people can really make a career for themselves doing things in manufacturing, installing these wind turbines. Not only that, but designing them and then the process of maintaining them. So there's a whole ecosystem of jobs that are created through the opportunities of getting these wind farms put up.
And I agree, and it's unfortunate though that I guess the biggest hole I found in the state policies based on the report is that the state really isn't making the type of investment it needs to be making in alternative energy sources. At the end of the day, yes, we do want the jobs. Even more important, we want to abate the health disparities that are outcome of poor energy policy, because at the end of the day, kids are going to the hospital from asthma attack. In some cases, people can be dying or are dying. There's any number of things in the report that attributes deaths to coal and coal-fired power plants and things of that nature. So we're not trying to say that that it's a equal exchange for jobs versus the health impacts that it's having on people. Nowhere in the world is that the case. But what we are saying is it makes no sense for any segment of the population to not only suffer the health consequences of a poor energy policy, but also to have a public sector that is not willing to make the investment to not only abate the health disparities, but at the same time create a economic benefit for the people who need jobs anyway. I mean, that part of it is the thing that gets to me more about the report. We're not doing enough as it relates to wind energy opportunities. We're not doing enough as it relates to solar opportunities. We're not doing enough as it relates to geothermal. All of that stuff exists, the possibilities of it exist in Missouri, and Missouri can step up to the forefront and take lead like some other states and get it done. And we're not, and there's no reason for us not to do it. Apathy does not rise to a level where the moral imperative of addressing the issue should be put on the back burner. And I think Missouri has a moral commitment to address this issue, especially as it relates to how their energy policy is affecting people's health.
Great point.
Yeah, so right now you're saying the African American community gets the short end of the stick both ways. Bad health outcomes from air pollution, from the dirty energy policy
Absolutely.
we have, as well as in a lack of jobs because there's not a dynamic new energy economy that's being supported by state policy.
Yeah, and there's an underlying triple threat is the fact that because we won't convert to renewable energies and lower the cost of energy to poor people, well, now they can't get the jobs, they suffering health disparities, and whatever little money they got, they had to put it in paying for light and gas, light so they can see in the dark, and gas and other stuff so they can heat their homes. So it's like a triple threat in some degrees.
When I think that's why the NAACP report spends a lot of focus on energy efficiency too, because that is a way to reduce energy bills, but our state does not have mandatory energy efficiency like, say, the state of Illinois does.
Yeah. And you make a great point. Just to build on that, we look at it, the triple bottom line. How are we affecting the planet, the people, and the profits that we're making as far as job creation? And the things that we're losing in these opportunities are unacceptable, simply. It's simple as that. If we focus on the ability to invest in renewable energy, we're focusing on an ecosystem of development that supersedes what you get from coal. Our coal comes from Wyoming. So what does that mean? That translates into less jobs where people are building those opportunities right here in Missouri. So if we actually invest, we're not just investing in the manufacturing of these, we're investing in the development, the implementation, as well as the maintenance. So that's a series of different opportunities for job creation and for improvement of the standard of living of the people, and number one, saving the planet, which is a win all around. And so the problems that we have to solve are all tied together with a great solution. Invest in renewable energies.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I think the NAACP report is so exciting, and I'd encourage everyone out there who sees the show to go online and take a look at their report, because it's very thorough.
Yeah, absolutely. Take a look at it, and we're now starting to take a look at those incentives that the state are providing to see just how effective they are and how efficient the state is being as it relates to that distribution. They got any number of programs that provide tax abatement, low interest loans, and all sort of stuff. So we want to see what have they been doing with that, who's been the beneficiaries of it, and is it really accomplishing what we need.
Good. Well, let's take a short break to look at a video from a community that has adopted some of the principles suggested in the NAACP report, and it's Asheville, North Carolina. So let's take a look at what Asheville has found.
Yeah, Asheville is a very fertile place for the clean energy economy. There are so many supportive companies and businesses that are going into green energy fields. So there are new weatherization companies sprouting up, there are new renewable energy companies. It is a wonderful place to be for creating these green jobs in Western North Carolina.
When I started working with GO, I started off as a trainee. And I learned ecological restoration, sustainable agriculture, a little bit of solar. But the one thing that really attracted my attention was the weatherization part.
It's all about the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profits. And so we're going to create jobs that are going to put money into the pockets of the homeowners, going to put money into the pockets of people in this community, jobs that can never be outsourced, jobs that are going to benefit the community in so many ways. I love my job. I have the best job in the world. This is a green job, but more importantly, it's about people. When I go home knowing that somebody got a job today because of the work that I put in, it's a beautiful thing.
Sundance has been doing this since 1995, and we calculate that we've empowered at least 1,000 different individuals. Clean energy is viable. Certainly many people, individuals and small companies such as ourselves and large-scale utilities, solar is happening now too.
We know that solar creates a tremendous amount of jobs. We already have nearly 15,000 jobs in the clean energy economy in North Carolina. And this is a tremendous opportunity for us to continue to create clean energy jobs that allow for a good investment in our health and in our economy.
Sundance definitely wants to see Asheville move beyond coal. It is the mission behind our work to create a cleaner environment, to empower people to become a little more independent, to tap into all this incredible energy that is here right on our rooftops. It's free, it's clean, and moving beyond coal would be a very, very positive thing for the future.
What if we were served a side of truth?
I'll take a super bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Okay, that'll be meat from a pig who can't even turn around, an egg from a bird kept in a cage so small she can't spread her wings, and the milk of a cow whose calf is taken at birth to make veal. Ma'am?
Since 1990, the Gateway Green Alliance has worked on environmental and social justice campaigns in St. Louis.
The Gateway Greens have brought dedicated activists to speak at Black and Green Wednesday programs, the annual Pesto Feast, Martin Luther King Day, May Day, and Kwanzaa celebrations.
The Gateway Green Alliance is best known for opposing genetically contaminated foods. We invite activists and scholars from around the world to participate in safe food action and bring their creative art.
We need your support to keep going. Please send your $60 membership check or your $30 low-income check. Best of all, come to a Black and Green Wednesday program, 7:30 p.m. on the first Wednesday of the month at Legacy Books and Cafe.
Welcome back to Green Time. I hope you found that segment on the city of Asheville inspiring. And back to our guests, Adolphus Pruitt from the St. Louis City NAACP and Sam Cummings with the Missouri Sierra Club. Thanks again for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, Missouri voters had a chance to weigh in on one aspect of this report, which is renewable energy standards. And in the city of St. Louis, 78% of voters voted yes in November 2008 for renewable energy. That tells me that the voters support the NAACP position as well. Does that make sense to you, Adolphus?
Yeah, it makes sense. What don't make sense is that those things that the state put in place, the renewable, the tax credits and other things, I hate to use the word expiring, but in reality, they give it and they're taking it away. And I think that is a serious problem for the folks in St. Louis who really believe in renewable energy.
Yeah. The voters voted for it, but state government has really watered down what we voted for substantially.
Yeah, and they're letting the utility companies off the hook too. I mean, I understand that in no way did they anticipate the great participation from people taking advantage of the incentive program and installing solar panels and things of that nature. But that's a good problem to have, not a bad one. And again, here we go, we start reducing that amount, reducing that incentive. So now the one thing that moving us directly in the direction we need to be going in energy policy now is going away. And I just don't know if that's a good government at this point in time.
No, agreed. Now, Sam, you ran for state representative in 2012.
Yes.
You were going door to door in these same communities that voted 78% for the renewable energy standard. How did these issues come out in your talking to people on the doorsteps?
Well, thank you for mentioning that. John. And the biggest thing about this that really stood out to me even now, resonates with me to this day, is the ability to be able to look through people's suffering. And people, when I go door to door, in 2012, this was 4 years after the initial voting, but the key value that I saw was people cared about the environment, they cared about their energy bills. They also cared about jobs. So the points that we're addressing in this NAACP report are directly what I saw people bring up. They're asking, hey, I need job opportunities. Where are the jobs going to come from? They're asking, why is it that we're not hearing any type of action in Jefferson City in our local politics about how we can decrease our energy bills? We can make it so that it's more affordable for me to live my life that I'm living. And then also the environment. What are we doing to address the issues that we're concerned about as far as global warming? And then the aspects that we can do here, right here in St. Louis, in Missouri, to impact that. So it really resonated with me because from door after door, and I knocked thousands of doors in my campaign, and the power of the movement that people were saying, whether they were white, black, old, young, the same things came out. They want to know, how can we invest in not only ourselves and our communities, but in our environment and our opportunities to create growth? And they're all tied together. So again, going door to door, people spoke on it. When I was in campaigns on the phone, people spoke on it. So it's the people that want this, and it showed in that vote.
When you went door to door, did you find evidence that people were being impacted by air pollution in St. Louis?
Yes, I remember specifically one woman, she had 3 kids, and all 3 of them suffered from asthma. And so it was one of those things that is affecting their life. And for us to not be able to act on that, it bothers me to this day. So that's one of the reasons why I stay active on this issue. And I was so glad when I saw the NAACP report come out and it mentioned the connection between renewable energy and right now our dependence on dirty energy sources. And that impact on health, on our bottom line as far as financially, the lack of jobs and opportunities we're creating. It's all tied together. And the moment we address it together is the moment that we start seeing some real growth.
Yeah, and you know, you brought something, a thought to my mind, and then you turn around on the other hand and won't approve Medicaid expansion. So the very people who can use the help to get treated from the bad energy policy, they can't get the help because you refuse to expand Medicaid because of your disdain for having an African American president. And I know they would say, no, that's not it, but I think we tend to believe otherwise.
I think you're right. Well, and to put it in context, the state of Iowa gets 25% of its electricity from wind today.
Absolutely.
Missouri gets 1%.
Absolutely.
Kansas gets 15%.
Absolutely.
We get 1%.
Absolutely.
And if anybody, if you ever driven to Chicago in the last couple of years, there are miles and miles of wind farms up around Joliet and all the way into Chicago. So we're surrounded by states that have got it done, but we're not doing it here in the state of Missouri.
As long as we got some work to do.
We do have some work to do.
Yeah, and we will cut taxes to say that we want to be more competitive with our neighboring states to attract business and other things, but we won't do what we need to do to be competitive with them as relates to having a good energy policy and compete against them for the renewable sources. It just seems to me that something is wrong with the equation when we have that debate in Jefferson City, and it's going to have to, you know, at some point in time, the people in the state of Missouri will have to get extremely serious about energy policy, and I think sooner or later, with the way that the environment is going, Mother Nature is going to send them a message, and I hate for us to get to that point.
Right, well, and hopefully the message that President Obama is going to be sending about the EPA getting serious about greenhouse gas pollution will change some policies in advance of that. And I know he's over the next couple of years wants to really crack down on greenhouse gas pollutants from existing power plants, and that could be a real game changer and could maybe finally drag Missouri into the current century.
Yeah, if not, climate change will. And we have a very strong agro economy in the state of Missouri, and climate change is going to really open up some eyes to some folks, and they're going to have to start taking the predictions and the research. They're going to start taking it serious because it's real.
And just to let it be known, we can't wait to that point. You know, things need to happen now, and I think the people want it now. So the politicians got to react, because at a certain point, who do they serve?
Right. Well, I think the vote on the renewable energy standard is great, for example, that the voters are ahead of the politicians on this.
Yes.
But let's take another short break for a video. This time we're going to be looking at an African American community in Michigan around the River Rouge plant and what that community has dealt with because of dirty energy that underscores the importance of this NAACP report. Let's take a quick look.
I have heard talk of that this is one of the most toxic areas in the country.
When my friends come over to visit, even from out of state, they go, "What is that smell? Why is the sky different over on this side of the freeway as opposed to the other side of the freeway?"
My mother's sister is in remission. She has cancer. My mother's brother died of cancer. My godmother, who lives across the street, also passed away, and she died of cancer. My neighbor across the street died of cancer. My mother passed away in 2003 from lung cancer. My mom was a healthy person. She was a nurse. I'm sorry.
If you circle around in this community, you'll see a lot of people on oxygen, cancer, but all of us are affected by the cold, by the fumes. Most people don't know that they're inhaling.
Never knew we had asthma. There's no asthma in my family. But then here's my 5-year-old granddaughter who has it ever since she was 2. I have a grandbaby that's 1 and an infant that has asthma that needs to be on a nebulizer. Watching my kids not being able to breathe is hard because it can kill you.
So together, and with the people that's here in Rouge and in Ecorse and Southwest Detroit, we're going to be doing some great things for our environment and make it safe for our children. I say that with great confidence. It's going to happen.
The Sierra Club is the largest and most influential grassroots environmental organization in the United States. If you care about clean air, clean water, and preserving open space, join the Sierra Club. In Missouri, the Sierra Club's projects include promoting energy efficiency and clean power sources like wind and solar, cleaning up air pollution by retiring dirty, outdated coal-fired power plants, protecting Missouri's parks like the Ozark National Scenic Riverways. We need you to get more involved. To join the Sierra Club, make a donation, or to find out about Sierra Club events in your area, visit our website at www.missouri.sierraclub.org or call us at 314-644-1011.
We are the Junior Black Chamber of Commerce, an organization that's creating the business leaders of tomorrow. Catch our new television series, Harambe 101, on Green Time TV. We want to thank all the business professionals who gave up their time mentoring what promises to be the next generation of movers and shakers. You too can help save the future of our underserved communities by supporting the Junior Black Chamber of Commerce with your charitable contributions. And remember, what you give today will help make a brighter future tomorrow.
Send your donations to the JBCC at P.O. Box 35257, St. Louis, Missouri 63135.
Hello and welcome back to Green Time. Our guests today are Adolphus Pruitt from the St. Louis City NAACP and Sam Cummings with the Missouri Sierra Club. Thanks for being on the show. And we've got time for a sort of a wrap-up statement from each of you about this report, covering maybe some ground that we didn't already cover in today's episode. Let me start with you, Adolphus.
You know, I would simply say this, is that Missouri as a state has the ability to compete against any other state in the union. And I think the citizens who drive this state economy come from the St. Louis region. And as you say, they've spoken loud and clear about the issues surrounding energy and energy policy for the state. And I think at some point in time, we as a region are going to have to take lead and push the state to do the right thing, and that is reduce our carbon footprint, and at the same time provide equal opportunity for all Missourians to take advantage of jobs created from energy. Great.
And one bright spot is actually statewide, voters at a 66% level voted yes on the renewable energy standard. And I think we may have won every county in the state, or maybe every county but one. So this is one where voters across the state really were enlightened. But you're right, St. Louis City was leading the pack, as is often the case. Sam, a wrap-up statement.
So overall, I want to build on what we talked about here today, and the value of everybody's individual effort cannot be understated. The fact that we are in a small city that's still a large city. We have an infinite amount of impact that we couldn't have if we were in some bigger city like New York. So our voice directly will change what's going to happen as far as what we see with renewable energy investment. So make sure you talk to your representative, you talk to your local alderman, you push the issue, and you will see change.
Okay, good. And one of the things that we're going to be doing as the Sierra Club is putting together a legislative scorecard. So if folks are wondering, well, how did my legislator do? Is he or she really representing my values there in Jefferson City? That will be a convenient place to see all those votes. But we'll have to bring this episode to a close. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, to see the next episode of Green Time. And thanks for watching the show, and thanks for your attention.